Atlanta was this up and coming city of black people that were just, they called it the Black Mecca. Like Atlanta was like going sick in the music at that time. Future had just came out. Gucci Mane had came. You guys see on Love and Hip Hop and stuff, that's really how my life really was. The recession hits. And it starts to slow down a lot. So this chapter is about, it's more of me in Atlanta. Because I was in Atlanta for 5 years, so it was a lot going on in that 5 years. When I first moved to Atlanta, I moved by myself. And I was there for about 6 months by myself, just filling it out, figuring out where I want to work, trying to get things situated for my son, for school, and things like that. I moved to Atlanta in 2007. 6 months later, I went and got him for school. So I went down there, got established, set up, babysitting, got all his school stuff situated, and then he started kindergarten down in Atlanta with me. So I figured that, when I got there, Atlanta was this up and coming city of black people that were just, they called it the Black Mecca. Entertainment was really big, right? Especially then, like Atlanta was like going sick in the music at that time. Future had just came out. Gucci Mane had came. Yes, yeah. They was going crazy down there. Atlanta was on. So I just figured that since I was around like professional black people, I was definitely gonna get put on there. Like it was where everybody came. It's like going to LA, you know what I mean? But it's like, if you're black, go to Atlanta. So when I went, it was kind of like a lot, actually it was a lot of new people, like a lot of people from outside of Atlanta. It took me like months to meet someone from Atlanta. Everybody I was meeting was from other places. Yeah, and then they had kind of like this thing about New Yorkers and people from up north. They thought we were better than them. Yeah, like they had this little like type of attitude at that time. But there was a lot of people from up north that were down there. And, that it faded away after a while, because it became a melting pot at that point. It's like nobody from Atlanta is here. So the only thing I really knew was the strip club at the time. So, or in the clubs, even in the clubs, like meeting people, you say you from up north, they like, oh, New York. I was arguing with people, like they just really had a stigma about New Yorkers. Just attitude. So, I'm just feeling my way out. I was working at not Sexy Dancers. I was working at Strokers, which is the legendary Strokers, very popular club for a while. And I soon started filling out other places because I can't stay still. So I was going to other places, visiting other places, and Strokers was okay, but I like the more diverse. I felt like I fit in more with the more diverse. Like Strokers and the other like predominantly black clubs were more hustle bustle, and I just felt like I was a little too cute for that. So I found a club that was more mixed, and I actually happened to like that spot better. So I stayed there. I switched and stayed there. I would go back and forth, but I stayed there. And with those two clubs, I had the same permit, so I was good. So I was in between Strokers and a club called Shooter Alley, which was in Doraville, so it was Gwinnett County. And that was more diverse, more family-oriented, more welcoming than Strokers was. Strokers was like every man for themselves, unless you close to some friend. And they're very territorial, too. So, yeah, I was just feeling my way out. So there was a couple of spots that were had opened up in other counties that were popping. So I went and got my permit so I could work at the other clubs too. So I had 2 permits, one for Fulton County and one for DeKalb County. And that allowed me to work at any club. So when I first moved, I moved by myself in Marietta, which is in Cobb County. So it's the outskirt of Atlanta, but it's Atlanta. And I got my first apartment by myself. I stayed there for about a year. And in Atlanta, it's easy to move around. At that time, like I said, they were trying to build Atlanta. So they were making it extremely easy to get apartments. So after a year, which I found out later is very common for dancers to do, I moved from my first apartment because I was rushing, so I didn't find the best deal. So my next apartment, I found a bigger apartment. So they have this place called Pro Move, and they have them all over the city. Pro Move. It's a company that helps you find apartments. Oh, okay. So when I went to Pro Move. They ask you what you're looking for. They ask you what type of area you want to be in. They basically map out what you need, and then they would set up. They'll set up tours of apartments for you to go see. So when I moved down, I was rushing, so I didn't get the best deal. They would have first and second month rent free, no security deposit. Yeah. So when I moved to my first apartment, I literally came out of my pocket $250. And that was to turn my lights on. Yeah. So once that year was up, that's when I decided to move. I moved again. And then the third time I moved with my god sister. She's really my friend, but I call her my god sister. We met in New York. We met in New Jersey at a club in New Jersey. And she's younger than me. And we just clicked. So she was like baby sis. So, things was getting hot up in New Jersey for her. She was getting into stuff, getting into trouble. So,
you invited her down.
Yeah, she came down to visit me. And then she was like, why don't we just get a bigger apartment and I'll just move in? So we got a 3-bedroom and she moved in. So, we worked at different clubs together, but Coco was she was cool and calm, but she was a little bit rougher around the edges. So her type of crowd wasn't really my type of crowd, but we really clicked like sisters. She didn't have a good relationship with her family, so I had became her family.
And how's at this time?
So the club scene. What you guys see on Love and Hip Hop and stuff, that's really how my life really was. And the way these young girls want to be, we did that. I worked all night in the club with money, celebrities. Then after the club, we hung out at bars and clubs after hours till 7, 8 in the morning. It was not. I slept all day. So while my son was at school, I slept all day most of the time. And then I would go to work and then hang out after work because that's when we got the party. We didn't get the party at the regular hours because we working. So I had a babysitter. Okay. When I first moved down, I met this girl and her mom used to watch the other dancers' kids. And she wasn't far from me. So I went to meet her and I liked her. And that's who would keep my son, Miss Bell. Yep, she loved my son. She loved him. So she would keep him whenever I needed her to. When me and Coco go out of town to make money for a holiday or an event, she would keep him for the weekend, for the week. So she would get him ready in the morning for school so I didn't have to interrupt his sleep. And I would just pick him up for school and bring him to school in the morning. Yeah, somewhere, and I just felt like I needed to be in the right place at the right time, talking to the right person. So I really feel like that's where my be everywhere with everybody was about. Really, it was about. I mean, everybody was somebody, and it was like if somebody came in that was, someone of some importance, and they're like, "Yo, come hang out with us after the bar." I want to go. I'm gonna go because who knows what can come out of it. So, that's really what it was about. So one of my friends, who is still my friend to this day. So Coco, me and Coco both were modeling. So we did a calendar together, like our own calendar. We did some print work for some magazines. So we were doing little things. And one of my friends, she is a rapper right now. So she was always into the music. Me and her were best friends in Atlanta. And she was, pretty connected to people too. But the dance life, it takes over. So we had the same, goal. We had the same goals. That's the thing. Like, I had to make my money. It's like at the end of the day, I had to make my money. The recession hits. And it starts to slow down a lot. And now girls are doing a little bit more than just dancing to make money. Yes. So it got really, really slow. But I also feel like at the same time, once the recession was over, it never went back to being the same. And I also feel like that was a time where I was starting to get uncomfortable. I believe that was God making me uncomfortable and not getting what I was in there for. I never left. I stayed in it because that was my means of income. Okay. I never had any intentions of leaving Atlanta. Like yes, I'm here. Like, it's my home now. I'm home. So I'm just going to work, making my money, and that's it. So what we did was, me and my friend, the one I said is my best friend, we ended up partnering, and we got a we got a booth in this flea market. So we started selling jewelry, accessories. It was an indoor flea market. So we tried that. That didn't work out that well. The jewelry we had, it didn't fit the location. Like, you know what I'm saying? We liked hot, like, really nice, And where the flea market was, yeah, no.
Well, I mean, was it urban, suburban?
Well, the flea market it was just like a lot of Mexicans and a lot of, like, it was real country. You know what I mean? It wasn't like in a high-end area. You know what I mean? So it wasn't working out. But I did try another way, and it wasn't working out.
You were paying your bills.
Yeah, I mean, I was paying my bills, but it was I still wasn't making the connections I was making the connections, but I wasn't making them work. And then I just wasn't making enough money to save much to do anything different either. Like, it got really bad. For me, may not be for everybody, but for me, it got really, really bad. So we were like, okay, we need to be a fresh face somewhere else. Like, you know what I mean? And there would be different events going on. So we would go to Miami a lot. So anywhere where there was like an All-Star weekend, a Super Bowl, NCAA. I think it's an NCAA. It's a big basketball tournament that they have every year in Charlotte. So we would go there because the club out there would be really popping. So we were like just basically chasing the money. Coco was crazy. Okay. I was way more like laid back. So she fit in those hustle clubs. I did not, because I'm not walking around to every person. She would go, "You want to dance? You want to dance? You want to dance?" I couldn't do that. Like, you had to show some interest for me to come over. I mean, part of it, I'm sure, was like the fear of rejection. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be told no. You know what I mean? I needed that liquid courage. Yes. I never had that by any means necessary mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was always some, like, I just didn't have that just whatever it takes. I didn't. It was like, I don't know about that.
Connection.
Yeah.
Club,
Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent. But then, like I said, in there, I'm like, dang, like, I had to be out of my element. Like, I had to be out of myself. Alcohol was my thing. No drugs. I tried marijuana years before, maybe twice. No, I couldn't. That wasn't my thing at all. But the alcohol, yeah. Never. Nope. Thank God. No. But even when I stopped the alcohol, like, I didn't have an addiction. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just something I wanted to do for whatever my reason was. I didn't have like a struggle stopping. You know what I mean? So I did end up having a boyfriend. A real boyfriend. But see, this is how it's done. You find a dude that's consistent and you date him. So it's a relationship, but it ain't nothing there, if that makes sense. So that's really what it ends up being. Until you run out, or, it's just, so basically, there was a couple, yeah. I mean, you just don't, you don't, it's a mentality. Like, it's not, even if the guy thinks it's something more, in your mind, it will never be nothing more. It's just an exchange to you. The whole Atlanta has become that now, but it used to just be that's the dynamic of a stripper in a client relationship. Now that's how relationships are in Atlanta, period. So, yeah, it was like, he liked you a lot. You play along, and that's it. So when Coco moved down, we got a 3-bedroom. And he was my neighbor. And he had a roommate. And I would see him in and out, and I just thought he was really cute. I was like, he is cute. But you could tell they were younger. Like, you could tell they were younger. So I would see him all the time. And then I probably said hello once or twice. And then I don't know what I had to have been drinking, but I wrote him a note and put it in his car and asked him if he wanted to go out sometime to call me. And he did. And we went out and we had a really good time. Huh? Yeah, I told him. I told him what I did. So. Oh, nothing. He's from Atlanta, so he already know what time it is. And he was young, he had just graduated from what's that university in New Orleans? Not New Orleans, Shreveport. Grambling State. So he just graduated from Grambling State. So he was back home. And he was working as a football coach for high school. And he was selling a little bit of marijuana. A little bit. He wasn't going crazy, but, surviving. But he was mad cool. Mad cool. Huh? Pretty much. But he was so cool. And we hung out and we had a good time. And we just kept hanging out. And but in my mind I was going, he's young, you know, they bachelors, him and his friend. He don't want nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's fine with me. I don't want nothing either. Well, not nothing serious. So so we started going out a lot and messing around. And we started going to the gym together. So he was training me. And then we started going on double dates. And I was like, okay. And then one day, I remember it like it was yesterday.